Welcome to the Oddfrog Chop Shop, your one-stop podcast for all things toy, design, collectible, comic book, video game, movies, pop culture, and more. And now please welcome your hosts, Kelly Greenwood and Eddie Hermosillo.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Oddfrog Chop Shop. Might as well say it's season 2, episode 1, because over the last few days we had a recent influx in followers and fans. So allow us to reintroduce ourselves once again. I am Eddie Hermosillo, co-founder, president, and COO of Oddfrog Entertainment. Business partner is Kelly Greenwood. He is the CEO and also the founder of Oddfrog Entertainment. And then we have Mike Cantrell, the producer of the show, and also our CCO of Oddfrog Entertainment. And that's who we are. And we're here to talk about, just our current progress on our projects, talk about our company, talk about a little bit of pop culture, talk about toys. We started this podcast to help get our name out there, set the record straight on certain things, and just help us develop our name and our ideas and keep things transparent with you guys, as some of the big brands no longer interact with their fans and with their consumers. We're trying to break that chain and, kind of do our own thing over here. Again, we are a young company. This is our first Kickstarter, our first product, our first big launch. And we're here to make a ripple in the industry that eventually, in my opinion, 100% feel that it's going to cause some sort of tsunami. We're going to change things. I know you'll be hearing us. You'll be hearing about us, our name. You'll be seeing us, no doubt about it. But let's get started. I mean, how you guys doing, man? What's been going on, guys?
Kelly?
You might have to help unmute that for me, Mike. I have this mouse and it's like super sensitive, so it's kind of going all over the place when I try to unmute myself. But what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Oddfrog Chop Shop podcast. We've got lots of exciting stuff to show you. Lots of new information. The Bandito prototype is fully funded. In fact, I'm sending the last payment for the prototype off tomorrow morning, Monday, to Hong Kong. Thankfully, Johnny has worked ahead on getting started with the physical model for us, so it shouldn't delay us. But yep, the prototype is fully funded, so we will have that physical model within about 2 weeks, hopefully a little sooner, but we're thinking about 2 weeks. Soon as we have that, we are going to Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, we're going to shoot for 3,000 backers as the first tier, which gets the car made. That pays for the tooling and getting it here from China, and as well as third-party logistics that gets it to the individual addresses of the consumers that order them, you guys who order them.
And the actual units.
Yep. And we just spoke to our third-party logistics company that we've secured. It's based out of here out of Los Angeles. So we'll be able to kind of have access to that warehouse and stuff, hopefully. But a lot of exciting stuff, guys, going on. A lot of pieces coming into place as we get closer and closer to the November Kickstarter. I want to remind everybody that the Bandito 2.0 is a 1/12 scale muscle car designed to fit 6 to 6.5 inch characters, and we're coming in at a $185 MSRP. We're pretty set on that. We don't want to go over 200. There's a couple little numbers to work out still with shipping, but we've got it pretty narrowed down, guys. So I think what we're going to do with this episode is everybody that's been coming on board, we want to kind of create a forum to show you the model, show you the car. Again, these are renders of the car as the physical model gets produced. But I think if you've been paying attention the last few days to our Instagram, at Oddfrog Entertainment and at 112th Street Chop Shop, we've been putting some promo material out there that kind of shows what the possibilities of the Bandito are. We've designed it to be highly customizable. So some of our stretch goals, are going to involve, promoting that the car is built for future customization, removable parts for the customizers. I'm going to let Eddie get all into that. It's Eddie's baby. I mean, we've all worked really hard on the design, but I would say for the most part, this is Eddie's passion project. So I think, Mike, if we can bring up some images for Eddie to talk about, maybe we'll just bring up the traditional the production model, and we can just kind of introduce it to people again, and we'll let Eddie just kind of walk through talking about the images.
All right. Boom.
Yeah, that works. So, so the Bandito 2.0, I don't know, the name just kind of came to my head. It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's a Bandit. It's a pretty badass card, in my opinion. But okay, so yeah, Kelly covered a lot of the things that that we wanted to kind of touch on. It's been funded. It's ready to rock and roll. It's being made. The assembly design was released last week, so it's getting made part by part. I will say that it does consist of a lot of parts. It's a total of 76 total pieces, ASB, clear plastic, and then we're planning on, I think you call it like electroplating, or like you kind of chrome some out. We want to do like the rims, the grills, possibly the light, the actual light, headlights themselves to reflect the light better. But yeah, this little passion project of mine, I don't know, all throughout school, vehicles, I never saw myself designing vehicles for some reason. It was just kind of odd. I don't know. But now that I'm into vehicles, I mean, I love it. This is, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It is designing toys, but at the same time, it's vehicles. I just being your own boss, I kind of just went with my own taste and what I kind of liked, things that I liked. And, fortunately, it seemed to please the palate of a lot of you in the community. So we just kind of rolled with it. And as a team, we made edits and we added things and we did this and we did that. But we created what we thought was a badass, classic American car, muscle car. And it seems to be suiting the fancy of a lot of you in the community. And I'm just glad that you guys like it. And I mean, we're just excited for it to be made. And like I said, 76 total parts. We'll have in the future, we're working already on developing like engine. The engine itself is one piece that slides right off of there, and right under there is the battery compartment, has its own lid. So the way we designed it that way, because with this engine and this hood, you wouldn't be able to swap out the hood for like a scoopless hood. So we were able to, we're designing a new engine that you'll be able to slide in the place of this one. You'll be able to swap the hoods. We're working on new grills.
There should be an image of that in there, Eddie.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. I know. But they're made. See those dummies in there are 6.5 inch figure. Go back one. Yeah, you can see them inside. They're 6.5 inch figures. I'm pretty sure this was before we scaled it up. So it's been scaled up more. So there's more headspace. There's more room, which is why we increased the price from our original estimate, which was only about $10. But we also added a turning mechanism. Prior to that, our wheels were just, static straight. And, we took it to Instagram and there was a post, there were followers. So that's, they made suggestions, and then we incorporated some of those suggestions into our designs. I mean, why not? It made it more photo worthy, which is what we're going for the high end collectors, the toy photographers, those people who like to display it. I mean, it looks great and dandy like this, but just imagine having the wheels turn and all. This is what the production model is going to look like. It's going to be a matte black, which will allow for, custom paint jobs for easier application of custom paint jobs. Some of you might not know, but this is actually a render that was given to us. I think it was like the second to the last pass. So if you go back real quick, we had this rent. This is because toy design is a lot, guys. I mean, I know some of our previous fans, or we've had fans who were once haters and now converters and big fans. But I've been going to individuals, talking to people, and I don't know. I'm doing whatever it takes to make them see our vision and to convince them that we're here for reals. I know, like I said, this is our company, 3, 4, 5 guys that we have on board. Yeah, it all starts somewhere. Apple started in a garage, and Jeff Bezos started by himself in a little office. So that's what we're doing. But this render here was our second to last pass. We were excited about it. We were good to go. And I mean, to you guys, I'll give you guys a second to go at it. But it looks great, right? But this is where attention to detail comes in. Things we learned in at Otis. Speaking of Otis, repping our alma mater here, Otis College. But yeah, you go over the images and then you bring up your references. This is all part of the design process. You get your latest model, your latest renders, you bring up your references, you start comparing, you make final edits, final design changes. And I think I noticed one thing and I was like, wait, something's off. And not right away, but I guess it took time. I was like, that rear view mirror on the front there, I was like, it's not supposed to be there. And you'll see in later renders, it's missing a piece of a window there, that little front corner window, and that rearview mirror is supposed to be on the door. But we caught it in time. And these are things that, like I said, are part of the design process, and with things that take time that can be overlooked if you're rushing things, if you're just in pursuit of trying to get a product out there to be first. But, we want to be first, but we want it to be right. We want it to be, pristine, collector grade. We're going for, our price point isn't, your bottom of the barrel. Like, we're not trying to go for just quick and easy.
I want to say something real quick.
Jump
Eddie.
in, man. Go ahead.
So part of the process at even the bigger toy companies, why we're waiting for the physical model, obviously, is you have to get a look at that physical model. It's now designed for production. So once we get it, we can look at it and we can be like, oh, it's kind of like making the last little red lines. You kind of go through the part, you take pictures. This needs to go over here a little bit. But all that can be easily fixed before it goes to production. It's just we need the physical model to see what the production model is going to look like, so we can do those last minute little tweaks as part of like quality control. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, quality control, man. Me and Kelly, we both have an eye for that. We have a good eye for detail and attention to detail. So we caught a few things even earlier than not expected, but we tend to catch things early enough to make changes to avoid delays and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I usually have so much to say. Sometimes being
right,
caught up in the moment. Yeah, okay. It's the next slide. So this here is literally just a view of the car sliced right down the middle. You can see part of the interior, the door panels. We looked at, like I said, we paid attention to references. We looked at details, and all the details are there. We went with the batteries being right under the engine. Why not? Makes sense, right? That's a pretty genius idea. And even one step further, Johnny, just the light switch. We like I said, it's a lot. It takes a lot. So there's emails exchanging back and forth. You're talking. You're looking at this. You're looking at that. You're looking at exploded views. And the assembly design, like I said, one of the hardest and most essential parts. If you can zoom in on this, like once a car is designed, you can design it, right? It's the shell. But you then have to go and design each separate part. You add wall thickness. You have to make sure that the angles are right, that things are lining up right, that when the door swings, it's not going to hit the front end fender. Like it's a lot of work, guys. So I'm grateful for those who have been patient with us and are still here. And but yeah, all the details there, the engine, the battery in the vehicle itself.
I love the battery part. I love that.
Being that light switch itself.
Amazing.
Like,
yeah, that's so great.
This is just when you put ideas together and you put heads together and you communicate with your team, and that's when you have something good with it, with your team, when you just come up with genius ideas. The way the grill's designed, it slides in there and then you screw it in, right? And now we have interchangeable grills. Somebody made a comment of wanting to have a just kind of clean grill. I was like, yeah, it's possible, but of course you're going to want to have our logo on there. Instead of saying Bandito, maybe it'll be the skull, or maybe it could be just a plain clean logo, and on the hood we'll have it say Bandito on the hood, spelled out just like Chevy did back in the days. Car is inspired by a Chevy Chevelle. I kind of took parts from a 64, 65, and 67 to be specific. I don't know, those models just kind of speak to me, and I just kind of fused bits and pieces of all those and took interiors from whatever references I saw, and just kind of literally kit bashed my own vehicle that I wanted to see, sent it off to our engineers, and boom, they then went ahead and designed it for mass production. This is what I'm talking about, assembly design. Anybody can design and
Eddie,
come up
real
with
quick.
an idea. Yeah.
Sorry, real quick, but you made a great point, and I just want to share that this body style. First of all, Eddie and I have been working on this car for going back probably a little over 6 months, with all the kind of controversy that happened with and having to change the design. So I just want to point out that ours was actually in development before we ever saw the engine of vengeance and stuff. So we weren't inspired by that at all. In fact, if you go back, I don't remember which podcast it was, but we came out that day, we had a podcast, and we were just kind of talking like, wow, it's, we feel like ours has the extra mile on the detail, and we're using high quality ABS plastic and stuff like that. So for our new, followers and subscribers, I just wanted to point that out. Like, this is our design. We weren't trying to chase anything at the time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. When Hasbro released their design, we were definitely like, what? This is insane. This is kind of cool. We're right on trend. It's all about trends. And I clearly, vividly remember when we were in school, they emphasized trends. They emphasized doing market research. They emphasized, finding needs in the community. And that's what we went ahead and did. I immersed myself in the community of 112. It all started right around the pandemic. I immersed myself in the community of 112 scale, action figures, dioramas, and, I became addicted. I became a heavy Mezco fan. I have 60, 70 odd figures. I have a bunch of the McFarlane figures. I have a bunch of the G.I. Joe figures. And it kind of just grew from there. But, and then I started making dials, looking at dioramas, and just following people on Instagram. And there seemed to be one common void, one common hole with everything. There was just not many vehicles. Yeah, there are vehicles. You can find die-cast vehicles for $600, $700, $800. I mean, they're 112 scale. They don't necessarily fit action figures properly. They're not made for action figures. They're made to be displayed, behind a glass case. There are other vehicles that are $30. The Slambulances from Mattel. They make great customizable vehicles as well. But for $30, you're talking up to age demographic of I don't know. They're made for like kids between 6 and 10, 12. Our target audience is the avid collector who collects the Mezcos and the higher end figures, and we developed a vehicle to compare, to compete, to be on the same level as those figures. That's why the design is the way it is. I mean, it's not just one plastic door piece. It's made of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hinges. Yeah, your action figures need rides. The whole action figure world needs rides, and 112 Street Chop Shop is going to make the rides for those figures. We have this Bandito, the first muscle car. I'm just all over the place. Yeah, chime in real quick.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, the lab has some pretty cool stuff, and Mattel has some pretty cool stuff. But honestly, at the end of the day, one of the biggest things that they don't have that Oddfrog and 112 Street Chop Shop have is ears to listen to the collectors and what they want. Like you said it yourself.
They're not able to be listening to comments and answering and replying. They can't, and
we can take those ideas and actually make those tweaks to give people what they want.
Right. And that's where they messed up. That's where the flop happened with what's tonight. They got a couple hours, and the HasLab is I don't know. I haven't checked in the last 2 days, but it was dropping numbers day by day, and that's where they messed up. Even people in the community, you know, avid collectors, big name guys, Artemis Prime and Unparalleled Universe, like they have these interviews with companies, and they're like, "Oh, as long as you don't exceed $350, you'll be good." And what happened? They put it at $350. Like, I mean, I get it. They are big companies. They have thousands of employees, and I mean, certain teams have, you know, they're smaller teams, but they have hundreds of people to play, and you know, they do big marketing campaigns. Yeah, we're a small company, and I don't know, we're able to put out a product that's better than theirs. I mean, I don't know.
I think
always ready to improve it based on feedback too. You know?
I think what Eddie and I noticed was that there was an opportunity to make a premium product for the premium characters and the premium photography we were seeing. I mean, at the end of the day, these are high res, high end, really amazing pictures. If you look at some of our guys that we follow, I mean, it's pretty amazing photography. And so we didn't see anything out there vehicle wise that was like worthy of that kind of high end photography. And the other thing I think it is, the other thing I think that happens with these bigger companies is, you know, when I worked for the bigger companies, they were kind of going through this process of letting go of the older guys who were really expensive, and, you know, they're $250,000 a year to have these old business guys on that, you know, that know how to run businesses like old school. And you get a lot of new younger guys in that they don't pay as much, but they kind of want to off-put the entire cost onto the consumer, where back in the day, you know, companies had to take a bit of a risk to get their tooling done and really listen to the community, because they were investing so much before they knew that it was going to actually pay off. And, you know, I think in the future, you know, we're a young company. We don't have the capital to do all our tooling, but I know as we grow, looking at a premium item and creating premium items, you know, we want to invest back in our consumer and in our own company, and offset a lot of the costs to take something to Kickstarter with the faith that we have in our own company. So I think, you know, it's just a lot of decisions that are made about how many people they have to pay to be able to get something done. And here's the other thing I'll say. Some of these companies pay 40, 60 people to sit in a room for an hour and a half during the day and not be able to make a decision because everybody's afraid to move forward on that product and be the one that didn't do something right. So there is a lot of thought that goes into it, but I think there's a lot of fear too. So things can take a long time. Obviously, ours took a little while as well. You know, things happen. But I don't see how you justify offsetting that cost to your customer. And really, it seemed like a number that they almost just pulled out of thin air, because Eddie and I have said it on other podcasts, really crunch the numbers on this, guys, to be able, like, we had no idea really at the beginning what you should charge for a 1/12 scale premium video. So we had to calculate everything up, calculate shipping, calculate material cost. You know, that's back and forth with development schedules, materials, deco hits. And so we really had to kind of go into it blindly. And then when we saw my first reaction to the, you know, the one engine was like, did we do something completely wrong? Like, why are they charging so much for it and stuff? So, you know, I think for a premium item, we just want to give you guys what you pay for and put into the car. And, you know, like Eddie's mentioned and Mike's mentioned, there's 5 of us pretty much, you know, so we're not a big company yet. And we love that interaction. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there about, you know, the fact that I think not all these players are like necessarily, you know, wise business people. A lot of those guys get let go as they get too expensive. But, you know, we're here to learn from those mistakes and emulate what works and let fall by the wayside what does not work. And I mean, obviously, Eddie and I are out there every day talking to the Instagram community, talking to the YouTube community. And it's like, That's business. That's what we consider
Listening.
business. Listening. Yeah.
Listening.
So I'll go back to doing that right now. All yours, Eddie.
Nah, man, I just wish our mics were. Yeah, guys, we need better mics. We're working on it. We're trying to get more better equipment, but our mics somehow interfere with each other and they echo and it causes problems in the cast sometimes. But
that's the next Kickstarter.
Next Kickstarter, help us fund
better equipment,
a studio, better equipment. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit more about it. So, yeah, like I said, the assembly design is extremely important. You know, you have to get it right and you have to make it work. Look, this was a design he sent to me, and then I had to make a change. The engine itself was the lid for the batteries. As you guys can see there's two little bars there that, you know, allow the engine to slide in, ergo being the lid of the batteries. But, you know, then that wouldn't allow to be able to use a different hood, or maybe, I guess it could have. We just included a second engine piece with a different, you know, sliding piece. But, you know, that was a change we made. I was like, no, I think we're going to need an actual separate lid for the batteries, and the engine piece can slide in separate. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. All these ideas are ideas that I like, ideas that I see, ideas that, you know, are influenced by others. You know, artists take ideas from everywhere, and there it is. See, there's the other one. So yeah, we added that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. See, I have a tendency of saying that. My kids tell me all the time when they're watching these videos, why do you say I don't know all the time? I don't know.
Because we're still learning.
I'm still trying to figure this out, guys. Adrian and Ashlyn, you guys always teasing.
Know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
You can't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. No. Yeah, the Bandito. Yeah, we have a number of cars in the works, you know, where I'm working on getting an exploded view. You call it, you know, a parts view that will better allow us to, you know, to explain to you guys how to take it apart. You know, a lot of us in the community are already, you know, capable enough to look at something and be able to take it apart and put it back together.
And let's explain too, Eddie, that it's not designed to be taken apart in a snap-on, snap-off sense. We did not want to have a cheap snap-together car. It's designed for serious customizers to go in and break down the car like meticulously. So you're going to need tools. You're going to need to do everything else you do in a customizable toy. But we're going to provide the diagrams of everything so that you can go about it in a smart way. And many features are going to be have the ability to switch out parts for future parts. So yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear. It's not a snap together car.
It's not a toy.
Yeah, it's not a toy.
It's definitely our target demographic. Like I said, is the young adult to mid adult to adult collectors, you know, so those people who have the luxury of being able to spend money on Mezcos and Storm collectibles and all those pricey little figures that we all throw away our money on and
invest
in. Yeah, or that we all invest in our collections. I've invested quite a pretty penny in my collection. But yeah, see these figures. So, you know, people ask us how this and that, but this is stuff that we take into consideration as designers. You know, we take dummies. These are the 6.5-inch dummies. Sit them in the cars. You make adjustments, and yeah. So, like Kelly was mentioning, you know, the engine of Hasbro and the engine of Vengeance. Like when we saw that, we were definitely taken back, shocked, surprised, because we had been working on this since January, February of this year, and I'm sure.
But this one is so much prettier.
Yeah, I'm sure Hasbro had been working on theirs for quite some time as well, because, you know, they work on things for years before even releasing or announcing or showing anything. So I'm sure they had been working on it for a while. But, you know, seeing that we were on trend with the 1/12 scale vehicles and that world, and, you know, just solidified that our idea was in fact solid and genius. But, you know, being able to bring a streamlined brand of vehicles to the action figure world, which is what we've created, is unheard of. There's nothing out there like it. Like, yeah, there's Hasbro is a company. They have figures, they have this, they have that. Mattel has it. MGA has that Bratz car. that everybody's like, oh, I'll just buy the Bratz car. I'm like, I have it too. It's cool. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not made for action figures. Like, these cars are made with action figures and toy photography in mind and customization in mind. Like, they're made for action. It's not a Bratz car. Like, it's an action figure vehicle. And that's what our brand is. And that's what we're going for. And these are just some possible customizations and paint jobs that, you know, people can apply it to. And yeah, we're working on getting decals. We want to have stripe. And that's the one that kind of went off recently. That one's like, that's the gangster OG.
She's pretty.
From now. That's the one you see rolling down Crenshaw Boulevard. I do DoorDash in Canley, and I'm all throughout Crenshaw South. Like, it's, I mean, this is like, that's the G ride right there, yo. That's nice. Rolling, man. Like that's that. Like, yeah, but see, like, even like that red line, that could be a whole decal strip. A last minute thing my son did bring up, that was our little logo there is, you know, he brought up the point that, you know, painting around that or this and that, it's going to be quite a pain in the butt. And, you know, that's something that we didn't think about quite early enough, but we'll figure it out, guys. But yeah, we can use, like I said, we want to have sets of decal strips that this could be like, you know, you can apply a gloss finish to the car and then boom, go from matte to gloss. And then you apply like your water decal strips. I'm thinking water decal, right? I don't know. We're trying to avoid the sticky residues, the sticker residues that are left by obviously stickers. But, you know, simple decal strips.
And guys, you can sand off the logo if you want, right? We just want people to buy it and know it's us. And we thought it was a cool design. Real quick, Eddie, somebody on Instagram had asked at one point too if the Bandito logo was going to be removable on the front because they wanted a clean grill. I was going to try to answer and then I didn't find them and I was going to answer back, but I'll just do it here. In that, no, it's not going to be removable. But
wait. Actually, that piece actually is a separate piece. I saw the design. But, you know, you'll have that gap in there. There's going to be a gap. So it's made to fit in there. That's why we're going to later offer other grills that you can, you know.
Wheels. Right.
We're always going to encourage customization. But we're never going to say, yes, take the logo off.
Yeah, take the logo off my car. I don't care. Go for it. Yeah, I don't care that you put your own logo on my car. You know, I'm going to want my logo on my car.
I just said sand it off.
No, Kelly.
No, I'm going to edit that part out later.
Like, no, I mean, that's like, but see, in the earlier model, when I mentioned that little window and the mirror being moved, see, now you see it on the door. And that's, I mean, that in itself made a huge difference in my opinion. I don't know. Once I saw that little change, I was like, man, this thing is a beauty. Like, I don't know. This car speaks to me. I'm gonna
pretty too. I like that.
When I get my first paycheck, I'm going to buy either a 64, 5, or 7 Chevy Chevelle, and I'm gonna make this car like dead ass. You'll see it.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everybody says it again. Damn it. Yeah. Rubber wheels. We're going to have soft PVC rubber wheels. You know, we have rims. We're thinking about tiers. We're narrowing down what our tiers will be. So speaking of the Kickstarter, let's kind of throw some things out there. We just talked about it today to incentivize the sale and of the vehicle, and to, in a way, assure and guarantee that it's made. Once we put it up for Kickstarter, I think we're going to set our goal at like 3,000 or something, just, you know, because that will pay and fund for, like Kelly said, the units, the tooling, having it shipped here, and the logistics of having each one sent out to people. But what was I saying?
Part of
Kickstarter.
Successful Kickstarters.
Oh, yeah.
Part of making a successful Kickstarter, we've been doing a lot of research and stuff on this. It's our first Kickstarter too. You know, I was just talking with Liam Motions at Liam Motions on Instagram right before the podcast. And he's like, this is my first Kickstarter. You know, are you guys going to ship it to us? I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. But it's ours too. So we've been doing a lot of research, and you really want to try to get yourself bumped up into the top tier, the Kickstarter stuff first. So that usually involves a percentage of your backing getting done within 24 hours. And I think that's what you wanted to talk about, Eddie, is we wanted to have like a 24-hour tier, because if that can bump us up into the foreground of the Kickstarter algorithm itself, that's even an extra boost to actually get this thing through the Kickstarter. So yeah, we're looking at like a 24-hour tier, a 5,000 unit tier. And then I'd actually, and I know Eddie does, want to look at like what it would look like for a 10,000 unit tier, because, with the price of our car and seeing how many people went for the Ghost Rider and then backed out, I'm starting to think that it can be done. And so
I know it can be done.
We'd like to have something fairly substantial. It's like until all the numbers are worked out, we can't promise too much on 10,000. I don't even know, what that would entail cost wise. So, but like Eddie said, we're just kind of narrowing it down to how we want to do those stretch goals.
Yeah. So like Kelly, like he was saying, like I was saying, he was saying, and he reminded me of, to incentivize, basically the guarantee of it getting made. We talked about it earlier today. We were thinking about something like the first 3,000, not the first, sorry, the first 24 hours. So we'll do the Kickstarter, I don't know, maybe noon one day, Pacific Standard Time, started at noon. And for the first 24 hours, if you're able to, whoever gets, we're going to crash Kickstarter, guys, check it out. So, the first 24 hours, if you place an order, we're doing like $25 off your next purchase with us. So, but you'll have to give us some, like, we thought about all the little things. Like, what if somebody made a purchase and want to make another purchase right away and use that? Well, you can't use it on the same thing because we're going to have to get coupon codes. We have to set up the whole thing. So it gives us some time, but.
Well, if we can, we want to make that happen. Like, we were talking about this earlier, but it's like, if the Kickstarter allows us to work it into the Kickstarter that you get $25 off your second vehicle purchase. Cause there's a couple people have already said they want to buy several. I'd love to put that in there for you to be able to.
Yeah. I forgot we mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's got to get us to a certain amount too. It's got to be successful for that to happen, obviously. So, we want to do that, but, yeah. Back, go ahead, Eddie. Sorry. I just want to make sure that if the Kickstarter allows us to do it, we'll do it. I guess I'll just say one more time. The reason we went with Kickstarter and not things like Indiegogo and stuff like that is Indiegogo will allow a company to take part of the money and use it for whatever. And we just, with the history of 112 vehicles and stuff like that, trying to get to market, we didn't want to do that. We wanted a legit Kickstarter where you are not charged until we reach the goal and you are getting your car. So that's built into the amount of backers we need. So, like I said, we just want to make that clear. Your card will not be charged if this Kickstarter does not go through. That's why we went with Kickstarter and not other options. So, yeah.
So, yeah, we did mention that. We were trying to look into Kickstarter and being able to add that option. Like, if you made a purchase, being able to use like $20, $25 off your next order. But, again, that would be only for the first 24 hours, just to simply, push that number as high as we can within the first 24 hours. We're still in the air about how many days, but I think we want to go for like 30 days. Hopefully we can have it all up and ready by mid to end November, so we can, end it right around Christmas, and then boom, that'd be great. But that's the plan. And yeah, the first 24 hours, you'll get $25 off your next order. And then, yeah, we're looking at the tiers. So, I mean, I know, like Kelly said, this Engine of Vengeance, I've been up and down numerous threads on Instagram and even on Hasbro's threads. If you guys go look on her, you'll see me on there. But I would say 2/3 to 3/4 of the comments on there are I would buy if, I would buy but, I would this, I would that, but. So they would have bought it. They would have bought it. And that's, at one point they reached about 6,000 backers, but that's, again, 3/4 of them would have bought it. That's only a quarter of it. They could have easily had 20,000 people. I think we can easily sell 20, 30, 40, 50,000 units, man. At our price point, at our quality, our detail level, I mean, it surpasses the HasLab's Engine of Vengeance. I mean, we don't have the wheel light up. We do have lights. We don't have the light up wheels. I asked for the model. I got the model from our designer today. I'm gonna start playing with maybe some effects, some smoke effects. We'll see how that looks, and some fire effects, so we can have these smoke and fire risers just like them. The only thing is the action figures. You know, they kind of did it for the action figures, but the tiers they set for these figures were just ridiculous. I mean, the first one was Robbie Reyes, right? And they tried to hit it like, if we hit Robbie Reyes within the first week, then you guys get Robbie Reyes, which is what we're almost doing, but we're doing with like 24 hours to get $25 off. But once they didn't hit that Robbie Reyes, then like all hope was lost. Like it was, you know, backers started doubting it, you know, and then they announced another character, but then you needed 10,000 and then you needed 12,000 for the next figure. And I get it. They finally just stuck to the production schedule they had and the marketing they had, and they had to announce it, right? But like the backers weren't there from that very first tier in gold that was not hit. They just and it's about to be over in the next few hours, and we're here, and
yeah. So what we're saying, guys, is if you're the collector that doesn't have the budget for that, if you're the collector that's just kind of like, this is BS, I'm not going to buy it because it's just more BS from big companies trying to, you know, we want you to come to us. Obviously, we want you to come to us, but we're trying to put all that detail into a product with a realistic price. So once again, we're pitching the Bandito 2.0. It's at a $185 MSRP as we sit here right now. We will be launching a Kickstarter in mid-November as soon as we get that physical model and can look it over and make sure everything's tight and ready to go. We'll be giving videos of that. We're going to be podcasting a lot, even if I just have to get on here one day and Eddie the next. Like we're gonna hit this thing really hard. And guys, we would like you to like, share, and subscribe. All this stuff, all our promo videos. Please put it out to any groups and stuff like that. The only way to get this to market and into your hands is if we can all kind of push the effort to put it out there and stuff. So I think we'll wrap it up on the Bandito for this particular episode. But
I was going to say, especially if you're friends with those people that say, I would buy it, but like Eddie was just talking about, share these episodes to those people or send them to our Instagram or YouTube. Just let them know. Say, hey, check this out. This might work for you.
www.oddfrogentertainment.com. We're going to be working on that a lot in the next couple of weeks. There's a whole page for the 112th Street Chop Shop. It's kind of small right now, but it's kind of got some updated images of the car, so you can go there to see it. And as well as we're going to be really hitting the Facebook Oddfrog Entertainment page in the next couple of weeks as well, too. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike.
No worries. I was also just going to add that just keep in mind any messages you send to us, all ideas are considered, because if it's something that you could use and you would want, it's something that we will absolutely consider to tweaking and adjusting or adding or taking away. So it's always going to be fluid. You know, once we do get the models going, it's going to be a lot easier to make little adjustments or add-ons if needs be. So keep those ideas coming.
Yeah.
We're here for the people. We're by the people, for the people. We're the people. You know what I'm saying? We're here for the community. We're here for you guys. We're here to make these vehicles not only for us, but for you guys. And we know there's a hole. We know there's a need. And, I mean, we're all excited, as excited, if not more excited than you guys. Trust me, because, yeah, you guys can't be as excited. Yeah, you can. We're all excited. We're stoked.
So, yeah, I know that it was probably last episode, or actually with Drew. Check out our last episode with Drew Playkos, very fascinating toy designer and teacher at Otis College of the Arts. Really cool guy. You guys brought up the Toys R Us situation, and as some may or may not know, obviously Toys R Us kind of disappeared. They have kept an online presence, but WHP Global and Macy's Inc. they bought the Toys R Us brand. And so, yeah, it looks like that in most of their stores, they do have now a Toys R Us section. And from what I found out is that the shops will range from 1,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet. So some stores are going to be just a small section. But it did say the bigger ones are going to be flagship locations, such as Atlanta, Chicago, Honolulu, Houston, LA, Miami, New York, and San Francisco. So
smart.
For the most part, most of them are going to be pretty small, but obviously the bigger Macy's are going to have a bigger toy section. But they do planning on flexing those up for the holidays.
Awesome. That's actually really good news. And it's better news than I thought when I was first kind of seeing stuff on YouTube. It looked to me like, oh, they bought the brand and they're just going to have a corner with Jeffrey in it. And it's like, it's just any other little thing that's selling toys with the brand on it. So if they can come with a bigger spot, and make it a little more interactive, I think that'd be great and smart.
I miss going to toy stores, man.
Oh, man.
It just makes me wish I would have gone into Toys R Us more before they were gone,
Yeah. I mean,
it was a
Walmart
whole
and
trip.
Target are okay, but they're not Toys R Us, that's for sure.
I hated it, but I love going during the holidays. Like, we would each take a twin, and then we would have them pick out a gift for each other, which was kind of cool.
Right.
And then so they pick each other out, and it was always cool, man. Just walking around the aisles, and then I don't know, Toys R Us was always an adventure, reminiscent of it.
Well, we had KB Toys as well. I don't know if they're still.
I remember
around or
KB Toys. Yeah,
well, I believe us bought them and were kind of over leveraged by their purchase of KB, and that was a large part of the problem. I could be wrong on that, but that's how I remember it. Yeah,
we'll have to check into that.
What else you got for us, Mikey?
The other thing I got is kind of cool. I'm sure most people have heard of the Toy Hall of Fame, the National Toy Hall of Fame. The National Museum of Play is in Rochester, New York. Or no, it might not be Rochester. I know it's in New York. So don't slam me if I'm wrong on the city. So ever since 1998, they've recognized toys that have inspired creative play and enjoyed popularity over a sustained period of time. So every year they get the top 12 toys, and there's a public vote all the way until September. We missed it. I was kind of bummed about that. Maybe next year we'll make sure to pay a little closer attention. But so through September, they narrow it down to the top 3 out of those 12. And then there's another vote by the people, but also with some industry experts and whoever they choose as a part of this committee to, I think, probably overrule everybody's votes. But so
every year at Otis, we voted on that actually.
Oh, did you?
Students, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to bring up the top 12. They should be releasing early this next month. They should be telling us the top 3. So let me just go through this list real quick and see if you guys recognize any of these. If I can actually share my screen here. There we go. Okay. American Bingo.
Oh, wow.
So we all know that one. Apparently it descended from a lottery game from Italy in 1530.
What? Wow.
Yep. And the National Museum of Play is my my source on all of this.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
That's right. That's right. Let's see here. Breyer horses.
Oh, wow.
Now,
I kind of remember those.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s, a lot of girls had these.
Yeah.
They're not. I think they say Breyer right under the chest.
So what I learned about these is they were originally designed in 1951, and they're all different poses, and they were all hand designed.
Wow.
So imagine that. Those are probably worth a pretty penny right now. All right. Catan. Have you guys ever played this?
I've played the Xbox version.
I was just gonna say they're making the video game version, but I heard they're making it again. I mean, I know it's a board game, and it is very popular. It has different versions, different iterations, and
exactly like Train to Catan, Settlers of Catan. Apparently, it was originally made in 1995, and it's based on a very popular German style board game. So this next one, I know Kelly will remember.
Oh, I loved the Light Bright, man. That was like one of my first creative toys. I remember. Absolutely. Yeah, I loved the Light Bright.
Light Bright was 1966.
Yeah, well, back... I just...
Do they still sell them?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's just a light bulb and a bunch of holes in a screen.
Yeah, I don't know who does those now. But no, I did recently see some somewhere within the last couple of years. I'm sure when I was working at Mattel, we were out doing some shopping thing, and I saw one. So I know they're still around. But yeah, that was a great toy. Light Bright, or the other name, Fire Hazard.
Hasbro has it.
Is it Hasbro? Okay.
Is it Hasbro? Okay. Well, and choking hazards now,
yeah.
too.
Exactly.
Okay, and the next, which I don't know about you guys, but I would probably vote for, Masters of the Universe.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when I first saw this toy, I was probably 5 years old. I was in a store with my mom, and just the colors. And it's the first time I remember like thinking about character design, I guess, in a weird way. I was just looking at them like they absolutely blew my mind. The packaging, like made the character pop even more. And I just, until G.I. Joe kind of caught my eye and came along, this was everything for me as a kid. I absolutely loved Masters of the Universe. Still do. The new Netflix
Masters
cartoon,
of the Universe
CGI one, not the Kevin Smith, but the new CGI animated Masters of the Universe, I actually did some character design on when I first got to Mattel. So if you look at, there's just elements of stuff I might have done in it, but like Merman, I worked on, and Evil Lynn.
I made his boots.
When you see her big kind of flared Batwing thing, somebody saw what I had done with my original design and emphasized it and used it. And I think there's elements of Merman that have my design in it too. So
nice. Well, obviously, Masters of the Universe, Mattel. Honestly, that was probably one of the smartest merchandising blitzes back in the early 80s. Because, I mean, they had cartoons, they had toys, they had comics. The cartoon went from 83 to 85.
And I believe it was the first, it was the first toy that inspired a cartoon, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had He-Man, pillows, blankets, underwear, PJs,
Same.
lunch pails. Merchandising.
Absolutely. Oh, we need Bandito blankets.
I want a onesie. Nerf.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Eddie's very familiar with Nerf. They marketed this as an indoor ball. And so that was the big, but I didn't realize it goes back to the 60s.
Oh, wow. I know at Mattel, there is cubicles, right? All in the design center. It's a huge place. It's like the size of a Costco building with just designers everywhere. And everybody has their own little cubicle, but they would have cubicle wars with Nerf guns and drones.
Nice.
Yeah. Fun
yeah,
stuff.
My kids had quite the collection. Piñata.
Oh, interesting.
So now this one's kind of interesting because piñatas, as you know, are used for a lot of times children's birthday parties, but they're also used in religious and other secular celebrations around the world.
Interesting.
And what I learned
Mexican
is that
parties.
I was going to say it's commonly associated with the Mexican culture, but it may actually date back to early 13th century China.
Interesting. That makes sense.
According to the National Museum of Play in New York. So I'm curious about that one too. Phase
so it's
10.
third generation cultural appropriation is what you're saying.
Oh
Mike.
boy. All right.
Phase
Phase 10.
I love Phase 10. And
I remember seeing this. I didn't really play it much, but you play it, Eddie?
Yeah, I played it. It's like there's certain hands you have to there's obviously all these numbers, but there's hands you have to get to advance to the next level, and there's various levels, and you have to get like a run of 3 or a run and a pair and a this and a that and a that and a this, and it's just it's kind of cool.
Okay, so yeah, they said it was invented in 1982, and it's a rummy style card game invented by Black game inventor and entrepreneur Ken Johnson.
Shout out Ken Johnson and the Johnson
and it's
family.
I still see it on the shelves.
It's everywhere. I have like 3 copies in my house.
Oh, there you go.
Pound
Puppies was big.
Yeah, it was.
Girls love this stuff, and I think they even had a cartoon for a little while.
I was such a nerd, man. I loved all this stuff when I was a kid. My friends used to make fun of me, but I liked it all.
This was 1984.
Wow.
All right, Racco. I remember this one. Now, this one was actually...
that.
I know, I didn't really play it much, but I had it, 1956.
Obviously still around for the QR code on the bottom right corner.
Right? Oh, this one, Spirograph.
Oh, yeah. My dad and my uncle had one of these, and my grandma would bring it out for us. I remember that.
So they mixed, obviously, playing and art, math, patterns, geometric, shapes. I used it a few times. I never really got into it, but at least one friend in the neighborhood had it, And then the top.
Oh, yeah.
The trompo.
The top at the top.
So here's the thing. The top,
what for?
They have found some version of the top in almost every culture across the globe. Mm-hmm. And they've found old tops from ancient Greece from over 2,000 years ago. So it's definitely stood the test of time. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So, yep, there's your top 12. And early next month, it'll be narrowed down to the top 3 out of those.
Awesome.
So, real quick, Eddie, what are your top 3 there?
I'm going to say the action figures, of course, He-Man. I would say the horses and probably Nerf products.
I got to go with He-Man as my number 1. Probably Pound Puppies number 2, and then obviously Light Bright as my first creative toy. Loved that. Yeah,
nice.
That'll be mine.
Nice. I'll go Masters of the Universe, Nerf, and Light Bright for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to share. I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah, and we'll definitely have to. I'll bring up any updates when it gets narrowed down to the top 3, and then the top 1 will.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, I'd still like us to bring back the show and tell idea. If anybody out there in Instagram land would want to share some of their best shots, like top 5 best photography shots. If you want to get them on the show, we'd love to do a.
We just need guests, guys. Want to be a guest? Send us some stuff. Let's talk. Absolutely. Let's hang out. Let's chop it up. Like they do at the barbershop. Let's just hang out and talk. We need more ideas.
We've had some pretty amazing guests so far. And yeah, if there's anyone you guys want us to talk to, especially if you have a connection to that person, please let us know.
The other thing I'd say is Designer Con is coming up, and it's not far from where Eddie and I live. And so it looks like we're going to be headed to Designer Con, and we're going to film for the podcast. So we're really excited. We've seen some images and stuff, and it looks like there's a lot of cool stuff there. And so we're going to try to interview some people at Designer Con and show what that whole world is like. So that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks on the podcast, guys. Reach out to us with questions. You can email us at either one of our names, oddfrogentertainment.com, also oddfrogentertainment@gmail.com. Message us on Instagram at oddfrogentertainment, at 112th Street Chop Shop, and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. We're really trying to get this out in front of the influencers and stuff, so please like and subscribe, share. Looking forward to that November Kickstarter, guys. Make sure and stay tuned.
Yeah. Pedal to the metal.
Thank you for tuning in to the Oddfrog Chop Shop podcast. This episode is brought to you by MLCvoice.com and OddFrogEntertainment.com. Theme music is Burlesque Heartache by RKVC. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Until next time, keep creating and keep playing.